Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Just when it seemed that the successful completion of the special intensive voter roll revision in Bihar may have put an end to all doubts, comes Chapter 2 of Fire and Fury, this time from West Bengal. In true opposition style, armed with the familiar playbook of provocation and paranoia, Chief Minister of West Bengal, Mamata Banerjee, has now turned her guns on the Election Commission. Right after an EC team visited Bengal for the preparations of S.I.R review, Mamata Banerjee launched a scathing tirade accusing officials of threatening her officers and acting under political influence, even before the poll dates have been announced or the S.I.R dates have been announced. But the bigger target, as always, was the BJP government at the center. She thundered that the party was playing with fire and went so far as to allege a conspiracy to delete votes. And never one to waste a crisis, Mamata Banerjee amped up her rhetoric, calling the S.I.R process a fraud, a smokescreen for NRC-style purge in Bengal, and spoke of riots, retaliation, action and reaction. Listen in to Chief Minister of Bengal, Mamata Banerjee.
Cat will be out of the bag. आपकी बीजेपी को आवेदन করব আগুন নিয়ে খেলবেন না, কন্ট্রোল ইউরসেলফ ফার্স্ট। আপনার মিনিস্টার যদি কার্যক্রম হওয়ার আগে বলে 1.5 কোটি ভোটার বাদ দেবে, ফার্স্ট আপনি মিনিস্টারকে বাদ দিন। রয়্যাল বেঙ্গল টাইগার আছে আমাদের সুবিধা মনে রাখতে হবে, কাউকে আহত করার চেষ্টা করবেন না। রয়্যাল বেঙ্গল টাইগারকে আপনি যদি আহত করেন সে কিন্তু ডিপেন্ডিং করবে।
Why is Didi so rattled by a routine constitutionally mandated cleanup? Is she projecting her own insecurities onto the voters while cleverly deflecting the real fear that's haunting her? Because when you listen to the BJP's response, the answer suddenly seems anything but puzzling.
সেই এসআইআর যদি বাস্তবে কার্যকারী হয় এখানে, তাহলে এই সরকারের কিন্তু কোনো প্রকার নিস্তার নেই। এসআইআর এ কমপক্ষে 1 থেকে 1,20,00,000 মানুষ যারা অবৈধভাবে ভোটার হিসেবে পশ্চিমবঙ্গের মাটিতে আঁকড়ে ধরে বসে আছে, তারা কিন্তু বাদ যাবে। সেখানে রোহিঙ্গা মুসলিম, বাংলাদেশি মুসলিম, ভুতুরে ভোটার, এরা কিন্তু কোনোভাবেই পশ্চিমবঙ্গে আর ভোট দিতে পারবে না।
Mamata Banerjee has seized on BJP Member of Parliament Shantanu Thakur's remarks, calling them proof of a voter deletion plot allegedly being hatched in BJP offices with the Election Commission in cahoots. Her threat of counteraction is a direct response to those comments. The TMC has been arguing that voter roll sanitization drive would disproportionately target the Mathua refugees, a large section of Hindu migrants from Bangladesh. But here's the twist. Shantanu Thakur himself is a leading voice of the Mathua community. So would the BJP really risk alienating its own core vote bank if what the TMC says is true? Or is it the TMC that is panicking? Because this cleanup may hit not the BJP's but the TMC's vote bank.
जो ओरिजिनल वोटर है, यहाँ के रेसिडेंट्स हैं, उनका नाम क्यों बात जाएगा? लेकिन जो बांग्लादेशी घुसपैठिया हैं, उनका तो नाम बात जाना ही है। अरे इसलिए एसआईआर हो रही है। डर क्यों रहे हैं आप? हर 20-25 साल में होता है और एक प्रोसीड्योर हो है, लेकिन आपको डर है कि आपने जो बांग्लादेश से बुला कर लोगों को वोटर बनाया यहाँ, ये भी छट जाएंगे।
अगर मुझे दुख के साथ कहना पड़ रहा है कि ममता बनर्जी के लिए बांग्लादेशी और रोहिंग्या, उनके लिए अगर उन्हें बंगाल में दंगे भी कराने पड़े खून भी बहाने पड़े और भयावह परिस्थिति भी उत्पन्न कराना पड़े, तब भी वो उससे पीछे नहीं हटेंगी।
बांग्लादेश से जो मुसलमान घुसपैठी को आपने शरण दिया, वोटर लिस्ट में नाम उठाया, और रोहिंग्या मुसलमान लोगों का नाम उठाया, जिनका मौत हो गया उनका नाम वोटर लिस्ट में रख दिया, और साथ साथ एक आदमी का नाम चारों जगह में आपने कर दिया, और यही आपका जीतने का आधार है। और इस आधार पे जब इलेक्शन कमीशन हाथ डाला, आपने चिल्लाना शुरू कर दिया, आग लग जाएगा।
For Mamata Banerjee, incitement seems to have become a political tool, a political habit, almost a reflex action. Be it the Waqf Amendment Law or the Citizenship Amendment Act, her words aren't about debate or dissent, but have a tendency to inflame passions. And during her tenure, West Bengal has not been insulated from violence motivated by hate. Remember Hargobind Das and his son Chandan, brutally lynched in Murshidabad by a mob drunk on hate masquerading as Waqf warriors? Deaths that remind one of the chilling fallout of politics of provocation. Fallout that doesn't spare anyone, be it the NIA, the ED, the MPs or the Aam Aadmi, and that many fear may next put the safety of the state poll agents also at risk.
डायरेक्टली सीओ को अटैक कर रहा है, बीएलओ को डरा रहा है, इसलिए यहाँ कैसे इलेक्टोरल रोल रिवीजन होगा, कैसे होगा?
पश्चिम बंगाल की मुख्यमंत्री ममता बनर्जी जी ने चुनाव आयोग के द्वारा निर्धारित SIR की प्रक्रिया के विरुद्ध जिस प्रकार का खतरनाक बयान दिया है, ये कैसे संभव है कि कानून व्यवस्था जो कि राज्य का विषय हो, राज्य की मुख्यमंत्री सीधे इस बात को थ्रेटन करे?
But what really is the need for resorting to scaremongering? Because there are no facts to be cited. You can watch any of my shows on S.I.R. in Bihar to know about the serial fact checks of opposition's claims that have been done. But yesterday, it was the Supreme Court's turn to do this fact checking. In the ongoing hearing against the S.I.R. in Bihar, senior advocate Prashant Bhushan submitted an affidavit from a petitioner that allegedly contained false information. I am telling you this because reading into the apex court, the court actually tore into Prashant Bhushan and the petitioners, asking him to verify documents before presenting them to the court. Now you know why Rahul Gandhi and his team are yet to file any signed affidavits with the Election Commission, and why there is no written complaint so far with the Election Commission, even after these political parties have seen through the draft electoral list. So ladies and gentlemen, the Motorola legitimate question that we're asking on the Newshour tonight: facts lacking, is fear-mongering opposition's best bet? That's the question, and that's the debate coming up on the other side.
You're watching the News Hour at night. Debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Joining the debate tonight, Siddharth Yadav, national spokesperson of the BJP, Ishkaran Bhandari, advocate in the Supreme Court. Also joining me tonight, Rajkumar Rajan. Dr. Rajkumar Rajan is the national spokesperson of the RJD. Dr. Ashutosh Verma, national spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party. Welcome to the show after a long time, Ashutosh Verma ji. Advocate Niladri Bhattacharya, political analyst, supports the Trinamool Congress, and Waris Pathan, national spokesperson of the AIMIM. But my first question, as always, goes to Tehseen Poonawala, supporting the Congress party. And Tehseen Poonawala, atom bomb mila nahi, hydrogen bomb missing in action, and now we have Mamata Banerjee actually threatening people that there will be riots in Bengal if S.I.R. actually happens. Where was there any violence or riot in Bihar that Mamata Banerjee is trying to say that if there is an S.I.R. in Bengal, it will lead to riots? Is this fear-mongering fair? Is this once again raising the spectre of NRC fair?
Thank you, Navika ji. Good evening. Thank you so much for having your show. Good evening to all my fellow panelists and to all your viewers. Yes, the Honorable Chief Minister of West Bengal is raising the right issues. Let me ask you, because time and again we are told on TV, oh, the opposition doesn't have a point of view. And one lawyer got some little bit of a scolding or spanking, whatever you call it, in the Supreme Court. He's a failed lawyer in any case. That whole thing is put on the opposition. Every demand of ours has been met. One failed lawyer becomes the opposition demand. He's not even a part of the opposition. But anyways, let's come to the issue at hand. First, this S.I.R. Since 7 crore people in S.I.R. was done in Bihar, 7 crore people, two questions. Show me the parliamentary oversight. Where has there been parliamentary oversight? Even a CAG, which is a constitutional body, any organization, any organ of our constitution has a parliamentary oversight. Where has been the parliamentary oversight in this S.I.R. process? None of it. 7 crore verifications done. Show me some video proofs of it being done? None. So the next legitimate question you'll rightly ask is, why haven't so far affidavits been filed? The Honorable Supreme Court also is looking, the Election Commission told the Honorable Supreme Court. Those are ready, those will be filed. The RJD spokesperson will give you the details of that. That will be filed in due course of time. The time is still remaining. We filed it before also when we were being mocked. But now is the specific questions that are being asked. These people who have been removed from the Bihar list, for example, can we know specifically how many of these were outsiders who were Guspetias, as the Honorable Home Minister says in our country? If they were Guspetias, why have they not been kicked out and sent back to their country? If they were not kicked out of their country, how are they Guspetias? Did they vote in the previous elections? Is the sanctity of the previous elections then safe if they have voted out there? None of these questions are being asked. All the Election Commission does is first cheap cherries and second to try and bulldoze. Two things. Under what sections do we file an affidavit? Till now we've not got an answer. Those who filed an affidavit like Akhilesh Yadav have not got an answer. And last point, in Karnataka, we did show you the discrepancies. The Election Commission accepts its data. And now this S.I.R. process nationwide is being done to delete the fraud that is happening in all electoral rolls across the country. Because one simple question as I end, if we do a summary revision every time before an election, why this need for a special intensive revision and to delete the data when we've shown fraud in the data without investigating it? That means you want to delete the data so that it doesn't come before when a new government is formed.
Tehseen Poonawalla, congratulations for a valiant effort to change the goalpost. You raised 50 questions, went to the Supreme Court. All of those questions were either answered, amended, or doubts were dispelled. And now you don't have a question there. So now what have you manufactured? You have manufactured a question. Where is the parliamentary oversight over the S.I.R.? Arey bhai, pehle kab hui thi? Pehle kab hui thi parliamentary oversight? This is the 1 minute. Now you've had your say, and I gave you 3 minutes uninterrupted, only so that you could tie yourself up in knots. And now, well, figuratively speaking, I will hang you by the same rope that you have put around your own neck. Where was there parliamentary oversight ever? If you wanted parliamentary oversight, why is that not a petition before the Supreme Court? And if you are saying that the complaints निकालने का काम आरजेडी का है, पढ़ाई लिखाई का काम उनका है, और आपका काम सिर्फ हाइड्रोजन बॉम्ब बताने का, धमकाने का है, then it's a different story. But so far कोई कंप्लेंट आई नहीं है. एक जो रखी गई थी by the failed lawyer that you are talking about, उसी के पीछे तो आप लोग सब लगे हुए थे कि भाई ठीक बोल रहा है. आज वो failed हो गया because there is an objection that the Supreme Court found. I just find these grounds so flimsy that Tehseen Poonawalla, I'll give you a little bit of time to just think about what you said, and maybe get embarrassed personally on your own, and maybe come up with cogent, logical answers in the future. But Siddharth Yadav, Tehseen Poonawalla and his desperate attempts right here on national television, where the goalposts have been changed. Isn't that what Mamata Banerjee is doing too? NRC and Riot have been brought into the mix along with all the other issues of Tehseen.
Navika ji, I think what Mamata Banerjee is doing is little more dangerous and different than what Tehseen Poonawalla is doing. Tehseen Poonawalla ji's attempt was really a failed attempt to justify whatever his party says. But it's very difficult to justify a leader who comes out and says, लोकतंत्र को बचाना मेरा काम नहीं है, opposing BJP is my work. But what a failed attempt. Tehseen bhai, you are a lawyer by profession. You are speaking of a parliamentary oversight committee. You tell me under which article of the constitution is there a mandate or is there a provision for such a parliamentary oversight committee over the election commission? The Article 324 of the Constitution gives the Election Commission this right to conduct this exercise. Under that article, where is the provision lying? Under the People's Representation Act, where is that provision lying? And up till what extent are we going to go? We have been going to the court. You have been maligning the bodies, the constitutional bodies of our country, and you have been trying your level best to save the defeat, the upcoming defeat that is coming your way. But up till what extent? But Navika ji, I wish to reiterate, what Mamata Banerjee is doing is way more dangerous. She is an elected chief minister of our country. And an elected chief minister of our country comes out and conducts a press conference and says that if election commission is going to conduct something which is mandated by the constitution, which is given under the constitution a power to the election commission, if that happens, riots will happen in my state. Killings will happen in my state. And this doesn't come, these are not just hoax calls. These are not just something that she is saying out of the air. We have seen what's happening in Bengal. We have seen how Bengal has been pushed into violence time and again. We have seen Murshidabad, we have seen Sandesh Khali, we have seen the Sheikh Shahjahan style of politics in Bengal. We have seen the post-poll violence in Bengal. We have seen leaders from different political parties being attacked in Bengal. Latest, our member of parliament was brutally attacked. Our national president was attacked when he went. When this is a state in West Bengal, of the state of law and order, and that Chief Minister comes out and chooses that I will disrespect the constitution and I will hold everybody hostage, and I will hold everybody hostage who tries to come and implement what the constitution mandates. I think this is a very dangerous style of politics.
Navika, just take 10 seconds.
Absolutely. No, Tehseen Poonawalla, you will wait for your turn. Tehseen Poonawalla, you will wait for your turn. Because there are other people on the show and I gave you uninterrupted time. No, Niladri, I want to ask question of Advocate Niladri, and I want to ask you, just what's wrong with the Chief Minister of Bengal threatening the Election Commission's team with dire consequences, with violence, with riot-like situations? Is that the level of desperation? And what has changed her mind so much? Except the fact that in 2005, it was Mamata Banerjee who accused the left parties of allowing these illegal voters to come in and vote, and that is why her party was not being able to make a breakthrough in elections, and she wanted the same thing that is happening today. I remember because in 2005, I was in the Lok Sabha media gallery and saw an agitated Mamata Banerjee tearing up papers. I can actually play out that bite for our viewers and for refreshing memories of those who have forgotten it. Please take a look.
Sir, I don't want to disturb the proceedings of this house. That's why I didn't disturb. I never disturb. Yes. Sir, I want to know from you, sir, the infiltration of Bengal. It has become a disaster now, and resulting in which, sir, you will see the name of the Bangladesh voter list and the Indian voter list both are with me, sir. That's why I would like to request you, sir. It's a very serious matter.
Niladri, flashback, yaad aaya?
Yes, everyone knows it, that she is very emotional. But having said so, Navika, we have to go back to a little bit back.
Before you begin, if you are emotional, you will threaten with violence and with riot-like situations because you are emotional?
I'll answer that question. Only, but let me just go back. See, why in Bengal we are opposing this kind of an S.I.R. as it is called by the ECI. They tried the same thing to do it in Assam with an NRC. But NRC was a Supreme Court mandated issue. What happened at the end of NRC? 19 lakh Hindus were out of that list. They were said that they were not to be citizens of the country. Assam burned for 3 days. All Assam Students Union, it burned for 3 days. But it is okay because Assam has a BJP government. As far as Bengal is concerned, we have issues with this S.I.R. because the ECI says the last S.I.R. was in 2003 and therefore it is necessary today, in 2025. But Navika, we must understand that the S.I.R. as mandated by the ECI now is different from 2003. In 2003, the BLOs were going to find out that which names should be entered into the list. Here, the BLOs are giving out a new enumeration form that who has to remain in the list. So it is a difference between the two SIRs. Please understand. It was brought before the court yesterday. This 2003 guidelines of EC, where EC were not there. They placed this is not in the public domain.
I think Niladri Bhattacharya, you need to brush up your historical information. Even at that time, it was the same issue of the illegal immigrants, and that is why Mamata Banerjee was so emotional. And you're telling me that you are very worried about the Hindus, the Mathua community that comes in. Oh my God, I'm so touched.
Why?
But Siddharth Yadav wants to respond to you.
Because they know that 1.5 crore people will be deleted. They know which consequences.
Navika ji, what my learned friend from the TMC is saying is absolutely false. Look at the systematic falsehood that TMC and the opposition follows, that they have the courage to sit on national television and lie so openly. The issues were the same. If an S.I.R. has to happen, the election commission officials will verify whosoever does. And that's the difference between an S.I.R. and an SSR. A summary revision and an S.I.R. are different in this case because BLOs go to particular residences to verify who's living there. What is your problem with that? If people are living, if infiltration has
Seized of the matter. The Supreme Court has put all kinds of breaks. And Baris Pathan, I ask you this question. The Supreme Court has said that the Election Commission is not the authority that will decide any citizenship issues. And the Election Commission has fallen in line with that requirement. They are not deciding citizenship issues. So what is Mamata Banerjee so worried about? And Niladri Bhattacharya says Assam burns, nobody asks a question because it's a BJP government. Bhai, Bengal mein to roz burn hota hai. Sandesh Khali burning happened, ED burning happened, people are routinely killed, lynched over there. How many of the India Alliance people have raised any question about that, including the attack on a scheduled tribe member of parliament, Khagen Murmu? How many people have raised a question about that?
Should I reply? Well, what Mamata
Yes, sir, Baris bhai.
says, there will be responded by the spokesperson of our party. Here the thing is, Navika, everybody has to follow the constitution. A rule of law must prevail. There should be free and fair elections, and the transparency should be maintained. See, when they started with the S.I.R., we said we have no objection for conducting the FIR, but the way in which it was to be conducted as per the election commissioner, we said that is not proper, because they were asking for certain documents which the people could not provide from Bihar. Because what we have seen that there are laborers who are residing somewhere else, working somewhere else, and they cannot just go there and just submit a document. So our party was the first party, led by our party President Asad Owaisi, our Bihar President Akhtar Iman, Adil Hasan, and that team went to the election commissioner's office. They sat there for almost 1 hour and they explained to the election commissioners that what difficulties arise if such kind of proceedings, if such kind of things happen during the S.I.R. And after that, the matter, you all know that the matter was subject pending in the Supreme Court. Our party is also party to it. Now, Supreme Court added Aadhaar card, because at that time also we said that the Aadhaar card is a main document. Aadhaar card is a requirement for procurement of a passport, and if you don't see that the Aadhaar card is required, what will happen? So now the Supreme Court has added that. The final verdict from the Supreme Court will definitely come. But the other thing is that the elections are on the way. And now they say that this S.I.R. will continue all over the country. They want to, they may, but the thing is they should procure. And what our apprehension was, is coming right. We said that most of the names that will be deleted during the S.I.R.s, this kind of exercise will be from the Muslims, the scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, and the backward class. This is what we have been seeing. How many people never have been left out during the and they said that the main intention of the S.I.R. was to see to that the घुसपैठिया घुस गए, लाखों घुसपैठिया आ गए. This is what they said. Infiltrators will be taking place, people are coming there. And so with the S.I.R. report which has come before the nation, what we see is that खोदा पहाड़ निकला चूहा. What happened? Amit Shah said घुसपैठिया लाखों की संख्या में घुस गए. Modi said घुस गए. That time also on your debates we were saying what was the CRPF doing, what was the Home Minister Amit Shah doing. Why
so the BJP has been proven wrong, na? So why begin to raise the fears of riots in Bengal? That's the question I'm asking.
No. Who's fear-mongering? Who's fear-mongering? I said earlier in my very first statement I began with saying that there should be no violence. Everybody must.
So is Mamata Banerjee right or wrong?
Is
Mamata Banerjee right or wrong?
Which you are naming. We don't do fear-mongering.
Navika, she has said if you
nobody has a right to fear-monger. Everybody is to follow the rule of law and the constitution. If she has said something, let call her spokesperson and clarify from him. Why are you asking me this question? I am
because
very
because okay, all right, but the Supreme Court has also said that the experience in Bihar will make you wiser. This is to the Election Commission. So Ishkaran Bhandari, I want to ask you, when Mamata Banerjee in a statement says that she will take care of all the election officers who are coming, when she threatens them and says that elections will be over but you will remain state government employees, which is a threat, कि मैं बाद में देख लूंगी तुमको. Is this as per the constitution? Number one. And number two, threatening with riots, is that something a chief minister should do? And number three, the question really is on why is she so worried and why is she treating Bengal as if it's not a part of India and only her writ will run in Bengal?
Navika ji, the short answer to that is if anybody as a system or any officer of the union government empowered to carry out a legal task, that should be a ground for dismissing the state government, period. You cannot have officials of the union being stopped or threatened by anybody, be it a politician or be it somebody who is holding a constitutional post. That is breakdown of machinery in a state. That is a perfect ground for imposing president's rule. But let me come to the more important aspect right now, which is happening with Election Commission and this entire narrative against EC. When they say they will drop a hydrogen bomb, the reality is they are only dropping gaseous farts because there is no substance to any of the things they are saying. Let me start by one example. Any Indian will understand before we come to the court what happened in the court. If lakhs of people are disenfranchised in India, if you take anything from a single person, he will sit in Dharna in the middle of Patna, not get up. If even 10,000 people were disenfranchised, you will have 50,000 people, their family members, blocking entire Patna. And we talk about lakhs of people. There is nobody coming on the road. There is no Dharna. And they are threatening riots. The reality is because it's a legitimate exercise done legitimately. And when they were in opposition, as you played out clips, people wanted it. But when you are in power, and we have had multiple instances of Aadhars being given for 20,000 rupees, documents being created, fake voter list being created, only an Indian citizen has a right to vote. But the larger plan is, it gets exposed in court. What did happen in the court? Prashant Bhushan, the affidavit filed is a fake affidavit in ordinary court.
Well, we have a problem with your audio there, Ishkaran Bhandari, so we'll try and correct that. But Dr. Ashutosh Verma, Bihar mein hua, the opposition had their reservations. They took these reservations to the court, which is the constitutional way, the democratic way of taking, redressal to anything that is not as per your liking or you have questions about it. But this whole fear-mongering and threatening that Election Commission officials will be seen, that they have to work in the state even after the central forces go, whether there should be riots because there is an S.I.R, this is a backdoor entry into NRC. Do you think this shows a certain amount of nervousness? Because the track record of Bengal and the track record of the India Alliance's silence on what happens in Bengal is very much evident to the people of India. I want to ask you, will you let this pass too just because she's an alliance partner? आपको ये सही लगता है?
Not at all, Navika ji. I think what Mamata ji is saying, it has to be responded by TMC spokesperson. But what Samajwadi Party is saying about this, I will explain. And as a part of India Alliance partner, I will definitely say that Bengal is not out of India. Bengal is also ruled by Bharat. Bengal is a part of India, and the Home Minister has to see what lawlessness is there. If he has power, he can dismiss the government.
Slip हो गया आपका. Bengal is also ruled by भारतीय जनता पार्टी. बोलते बोलते आप रुक गए. थोड़ा फ्रॉइडियन
slip. It will not happen. It will not happen in 2026 also.
करने लगी और ऐसे होने लगा तो फिर हो गया. My question with
BJP tries to rule through governor.
Let me speak. Who is interfering me?
Congress as usual.
So the problem is this: कि in 20.
नहीं आप बोलिए आशुतोष जी.
May I speak or anyone else is speaking?
आप ही बोल रहे हैं. कांग्रेस वाले थोड़ा ज्यादा सीट लेने के चक्कर में.
In 2026, in 2026 there is a 5 states election is going to be on in Assam, West Bengal, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, and Pondicherry. But why Election Commission is not preparing S.I.R. if they are saying that there is a very transparent process? So do in Goa, UK, Uttarakhand, Punjab, Manipur, Uttar Pradesh, Himachal Pradesh and Gujarat. वहाँ पे इलेक्शन 2027 में है. So it will get an ample amount of time for both the electorals and Election Commission of India to file the affidavit, to make it more transparent and to make it more constitutionally correct procedure. Why they are in haste to do in a state where election is going to be within 6 months?
Fair question.
The problem is the Election Commission of India is basically creating a fear-mongering among the electorals who are basically voters of the opposition or India Alliance. And I condemn Election Commission of India has to develop the trust among the electorals of India, not to make it more fear that you are going to be deprived for the citizenship or some others. We are living in a constitutional body. We have a constitutional framework, democratic framework where the trust is main thing. And now, after this vote chori and all this campaign, what the common people are saying that Election Commission of India is backing the Bharatiya Janata Party, the ruling Bharatiya Janata Party, and this is a common conversation between the normal people.
Trust is an animal that I haven't seen too much between the opposition and the Modi Sarkar for a while. 11 साल हो गए, 11.5 साल हो गए, आपको ट्रस्ट कभी नजर ही नहीं आया. वॉर हो गए, सर्जिकल स्ट्राइक हो गए, आपको कभी ट्रस्ट आया ही नहीं, हुआ ही नहीं नरेंद्र मोदी में. अब ट्रस्ट कहां से आएगा, ये कहां मिलता है मुझे पता नहीं. लेकिन सिद्धार्थ यादव जी, सवाल जो उठाए डॉक्टर आशुतोष वर्मा ने,
नहीं एक मिनट नविका जी एक मिनट, लेट मी कंप्लीट. ट्रस्ट हमको मोदी गवर्नमेंट में नहीं चाहिए, हमको इस देश की संवैधानिक संस्थाओं में चाहिए. हमको तो कभी भी नरेंद्र मोदी में ट्रस्ट नहीं है और न रहेगा, क्योंकि उनकी विचारधारा ही तरीका है, उनकी विचारधारा ही तोड़ने की है. हमारी एकजुटता की बात है. कम से कम एक देश में इलेक्शन कमीशन ऑफ इंडिया ऐसा हुआ करता था जिसपे आप ट्रस्ट करके वोट करते थे. आज तो बात ये हो रही है कि इलेक्शन कमीशन ऑफ इंडिया को कुछ कह दो तो भारतीय जनता पार्टी बिलबिला जाती है, उसको तुरंत जवाब देना पड़ता है. अरे हम आपसे तो सवाल ही नहीं कर रहे हैं, आप क्यों एक दूसरे को बैकिंग कर रहे हैं?
किस सवाल का जवाब सुप्रीम कोर्ट में नहीं दिया गया, मेरी समझ में नहीं आ रहा. पर सिद्धार्थ यादव प्लीज रिस्पॉन्ड.
Navika ji, I think he has made it very clear. They don't want to trust the government. They don't want to trust the Prime Minister of our country. I think there's not much expectation from them as well. But at least trust the institutions of our country. When Indian Armed Forces would do a surgical strike, you would be the first ones to stand in the line and say, proof dikhao, bhaiya, humko vishwas nahi hai. When Election Commission is doing something, you will be like, nahi, pakka hi galat kar rahe honge. When the Supreme Court, the Honorable Apex Court will come out and say that when you win an election, then you rejoice. When you lose an election, then Election Commission is at fault. This can't go on, then you don't trust the Election Commission also. What is this convenience की politics that the opposition has chosen from past 11 years? जो अच्छा लगेगा उसमें हम अच्छा कहेंगे, जो अच्छा नहीं लगेगा उसको सबको खराब बोलेंगे. This is the problem. When you take our institutions so lightly and when you try to malign their credibility amongst the people, This is not the job of the opposition. Try and understand that. And when you say कि लोगों का ट्रस्ट खत्म हो गया है, I say this with utmost responsibility, नविका जी, लोगों का ट्रस्ट नहीं खत्म हुआ है, आप ही का ट्रस्ट गड़बड़ है। आप लोगों के बीच में जाकर के you are trying to sell your fake story, you are trying to sell your false story, but the people are not buying it. The people are not believing what you are saying. The people stand with the institutions of our country and they know what's happening is right. But you ask, what is the problem of the BJP? We don't have any problem. You go and do anything. But after every election, once you lose the election, you start and question the institutions of our country.
And keep shifting the goalposts. And keep shifting the goalposts. Ashutosh ji, you want to rebut again? I'll give you 20 seconds.
Navika. Yeah, definitely. नहीं बिल्कुल बिल्कुल मैं कह रहा हूं किस प्रकार से भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने तुरंत इलेक्शन कमीशन ऑफ इंडिया से बातें शिफ्ट करके इंडियन आर्मी में लेके गए। कब हुआ है इंडियन आर्मी पे समाजवादी पार्टी या इंडिया अलायंस ने कोई सवाल उठाया है? हमने सवाल उठाया है जो भारतीय जनता पार्टी के सरकार के द्वारा चलाई गई संस्थाएं हैं, जैसे इस समय इलेक्शन कमीशन है, कभी ईडी है, कभी सीबीआई है, कभी एसटीएफ है। आप वॉशिंग मशीन के बारे में सब कुछ जानते हैं। क्यों नहीं ट्रस्ट होगा? ट्रस्ट के इश्यूज आपने पैदा किए हैं इस देश में इलेक्शन कमीशन ऑफ इंडिया के ऊपर।
I'm sorry, Dr. Ashutosh Verma. I beg to differ there. On various occasions, members of the India Alliance have questioned for proof of surgical strikes. They have asked what was the destruction during the Balakot strike. You have asked for how many of our aircraft were destroyed in the Operation Sindoor. तो ये तो आप रहने दीजिए कि आपने कभी कोई सवाल नहीं उठाया, ये आप रहने दीजिए। लेकिन राजकुमार, I want to bring in Rajkumar Rajan ji. Rajkumar Rajan ji, I want to ask you a very pointed question. When a chief minister talks about riots, मैं पूछना चाह रही हूं आपसे कि जब riots होते हैं, दंगे होते हैं, तो किसी नेता का कुछ नहीं बिगड़ता, किसी सरकारी तंत्र के बंदे का कुछ नहीं, मैं तो कहूंगी विपक्ष के भी बंदों का कुछ नहीं बिगड़ता। बिगड़ता है तो उस गरीब का, उस आम इंसान का जो सड़क पर खड़ा है, जिसकी आप हिमायत करने के लिए दावे करते हैं। बिगड़ता सिर्फ उसका है। और हमने वक्फ के समय हरगोविंद पाल का ये देखा, उनके बेटे चंदन का देखा होते हुए बंगाल में। इसीलिए पूछ रही हूं कि ये जो दंगे फसाद की जो बात कही, आप इससे सहमत हैं? और अगर नहीं है तो हिम्मत क्यों नहीं जुटा पाते कहने के लिए कि इस तरह की बात हमें शोभा नहीं देती?
नाविका जी, देखिए, देश के इतिहास में आप देखें कि सांप्रदायिक दंगे और तमाम तरह के ये सांप्रदायिकता फैलाने का कार्य किस पार्टी का होता है, और जो वोटों का जो जनाधार है उसको पलटने के लिए जो तिकड़म किए जाते हैं, जो षड्यंत्र रचे जाते हैं, पूरा देश यह जानता है। लेकिन चुनाव आयोग की विश्वसनीयता पर जो प्रश्न खड़ा होता है, उसका अहम हिस्सा चुनाव आयोग का पारदर्शिता नहीं होना, निष्पक्षता नहीं होना। देखिए, चुनाव आयोग एक संवैधानिक संस्था है, उसकी जिम्मेदारी जनता की है, जनता के प्रति जिम्मेदार रहना चाहिए और निष्पक्षता और जिम्मेदारी के साथ पारदर्शिता होनी चाहिए। लगातार चुनाव आयोग का जो षड्यंत्र होता है वो ऐसा लगता है कि बीजेपी के मंशा से, बीजेपी के दृष्टि से वह कार्य कर रही है। चुनाव आयोग के द्वारा विपक्ष जो प्रश्न पूछता है उसका जवाब सीधा बीजेपी के प्रवक्ता देने लगते हैं। बिहार में देखिए, मैं एक डाटा प्रस्तुत कर रहा हूं। 18 सितंबर 2025 को टेक्निकल ग्रुप ऑन पॉपुलेशन प्रोजेक्शन का रिपोर्ट है। 8 लाख 22 लाख वोटर थे, वयस वोटर, और जो लिस्टिंग जब हुई 7.89 लाख शुरू हुआ S.I.R की प्रक्रिया के साथ, और जो फाइनल लिस्ट आई उसमें 7 करोड़ 42 लाख हो गए। ये 80 लाख वोटर कहां गए? ये तो
डालिए ना, कंप्लेंट डालिए ना। सुप्रीम कोर्ट, इलेक्शन कमीशन दोनों इंतजार में बैठे हैं। कंप्लेंट डालना नहीं है, लेकिन बातें बड़ी बड़ी करनी। ईश्वरन भंडारी, प्लीज रिस्पॉन्ड।
नाविका जी, सिंपल सी बात है, किसी भी इंडिविजुअल व्यक्ति का अगर नाम कटे, 8 लाख 80 लाख की बात छोड़िए, वो इमीडिएटली जा सकता है कोर्ट में नाम देके कि मेरा नाम यहाँ से काटा और गलत काटा गया, मैं भारत का नागरिक हूँ, यहाँ रहता हूँ, नाम काटा। कितने ऐसे केस आए हैं? 80 लाख की बात कर रहे हैं आप। आप 8,000 तो डाल दीजिए, 1% भी नहीं आप डाल पाएंगे, क्योंकि है ही नहीं ऐसा। पर जो ज्यादा बुरी बात है, देखिए इस डिबेट में भी ये बोला गया कि इलेक्शन कमीशन जो कर रहा है उसको ट्रस्ट जनरेट करना चाहिए कि भारत की सिटीजनशिप नहीं चली जाएगी। सीए आया तो झूठ दिलाया, सिटीजनशिप चली जाएगी। इलेक्शन कमीशन अपना दायित्व करता है, एक रोल निभाता है, तो सिटीजनशिप चली जाएगी। दैट इज द प्रॉब्लम। यू फेयर मॉन्गर बिकॉज यू want to destroy faith in every institution by scaring people that you will lose your citizenship in laws that have got nothing to do with citizenship, and then you want to create anarchy in society and then blame the government for it. This is the nefarious plan because you have seen what in Bangladesh or Nepal or Sri Lanka,
which is why Gen Z is invoked, which is why dangas are invoked. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm completely out of time, but there's one thing that I want to say. I just want to say that any government anywhere in this country should remember one thing. They serve till the pleasure of the people who vote them in. To try and scare people of India, to try and create a spectre as if there are going to be riots, clearly do not serve those whose faith and whose vote you want. Everybody must remember this, that the rule of law is same from Jammu and Kashmir right up to Kanyakumari, from east to west. The rules of the constitution will remain, will apply to all. If Bihar did not see any violence, why should Bengal see any violence? Is it only because there is a different government that is running Bengal? It is something to introspect about. And I also want to raise this question. When Mamata Banerjee stood and questioned in 2005 the same illegal immigrants issues that had kept her out of power in Bengal when the left parties rule Bengal, why is today she decrying the same issue that was required way back in 2005? Have the tables turned? Because from out of power you are now in power, and therefore the rules of the game have changed? I don't know. The people of India can see through all of this. And if there are any pitfalls, any real issues, well, there is the Supreme Court of India listening to the matter in Bihar. I'm sure if there are issues in Bengal, the Supreme Court of India isn't changing its address anytime soon. These petitions can go there once again. So what makes the Trinamool Congress just so apprehensive? I don't. We leave it at that. Thank you very much to all my panelists for joining me on debate number 1.